Hello everybody, it's Juliet here with another video. Today I'm going to show you what I made using these these are Mosaic tiles that I got from bbcraft.com in my last video that I opened. And they're little glass tiles. And you get like 360 approximately in a tub, and they come in all these different colors. So there's yellow and orange and red and these kind of amber colored ones. This is actually kind of like brown, but then when you hold it up it also has a purple tint to it. There's green, there's these light blue, dark blue. So they are glass tiles. They're not made for jewelry making. They're made for, putting on a table or something, or a mirror or whatever, if you're making a mosaic. So they are sharp. They are not like finished on the edge. They have sharp edges. So you have to be really, really careful. I mean, as a beader, I'm used to stabbing myself with a needle. So but I don't want anybody to be like, oh, I got cut from my mosaic tiles. So please, please, please handle them with care if you get these. But like I say, you get this huge tub, so it's pretty good value. You can make a lot of earrings out of this. So what we're going to be making today, I've made this pair already, which I think are really cool. So we're going to be making this, I'm going to teach you how to make this triangular bezel, and we'll be making a pair of earrings, but there's no reason you couldn't use this component and string several together to make a necklace. So for these I used the dark blue in the middle and then some dark blue seed beads. And I'm also using this pack of pearls, set of shell pearls that I got from BB Craft as well, and I'm using this size here. I think these two were the same. I thought they were I think they're 6 millimeter, but they might be, I kind of measured it and it looked a little bit bigger. I thought they might be 7 millimeter, but anyway, I'm using those like for the top part here. See this pearl here. So this is also from BB Craft, and these are the shell pearls, so they're not glass pearls. They're really nice quality pearls. I'm gonna find that one had a little more on it. Okay. So yeah, like I say, be very, very careful with these mosaic tiles, please. I'm still debating what color. Okay, I'm not using that. I'm not using the, I'm trying to decide whether I want the insides to be red with this gold and white, or this color. I think that might be a little bit too matchy-matchy for me, so I'm going to use red tiles. So some of these tiles have like little bubbles, or they're not quite, or some of them have like a little slightly broken corner. That actually doesn't matter that much, but you don't want any really obviously, some of them are kind of a little bit not triangular, and some are bigger and some are smaller. I'm going for the most triangular and kind of bigger ones that I can find. I mean, I think those two look pretty good. So let me just get rid of these. So yes, do please be very careful with these tiles because they are sharp. They are not finished. There is also little bits of glass dust down at the bottom of this pot. So you've just got to just exercise reasonable caution when you're using it, and you'll be fine. Okay. So yeah, these are from BB Craft, and I also got the pearls from bbcraft.com. Check them out. They're having a clearance sale, like a warehouse moving clearance. for their American warehouse at the moment, so anything from that is on sale. Okay, so you're going to need, for a pair of earrings, 2 of your tiles, some of your 6mm. You know what, that one does look bigger. I think these are 2 slightly different sizes. Let me find a bigger one here. I thought they were the same, but I think maybe one of these tubs is 6mm and the other is 7. Yeah, that looks closer. Okay, so you're gonna need like a 6 or 7mm pearl for each earring, and then you're gonna need some 3mm pearls. Mine are just glass pearls. You're going to need some 15-0 round seed beads, which go in here. Okay, on the little middle bit. And then you're going to also need some Delicas, and they have to be Delicas. You can't use the rounds because the glass is so sharp. We want it to snug up really nice together so that there's nothing, no thread is going to be cut or anything. I don't normally, my designs don't normally have Delicas because I normally don't do peyote, but for this it really has to be Delicas, I'm afraid. So 11-0 Delicas, and these are like galvanized, Duracoat galvanized gold that I'm using. And then you're going to need some earring wires, and again on BB Craft they have a bunch of earring options if you need some of those. And then I've just lost my Fireline. Oh, there it is. Okay. And then I'm using Fireline in 6-pound crystal. So I'm going to get about, you need a decent amount because the peyote stitch takes up quite a lot. So I'm getting about an arm span, like if you hold it from your far shoulder to the end of your arm, about that much, about 3 feet. And obviously we'll need a beading needle as well. So I will just get this threaded on. Okay, so we're going to begin just doing basic peyote. Hopefully you've done this stitch before. If you haven't, there's lots of tutorials online. So I'm leaving about a 4-inch tail just to sew in at the end, and just hold that tail with your thumb. And then we're going to pick up 39 Delicas. So it's 3 sets of 13 Delicas. So I like to pick it up in those 3 sets. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and always just double count because can save you a lot of grief. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Okay, so we're going to do that 2 more times until you have 39. So I've now got 39 Delicas on my thread, and I'm going to form a ring. So I'm going to sew back through the first 2 at this end. The first 2 that I put on. Okay. Let me zoom you in a little bit. Hopefully this will help. Okay. So what I like to do is just put this around my index finger, and I'm kind of holding my tail out of the way, but I'm not holding it tight because with peyote, the first row, it stretches because when the beads go next to each other, you need a little bit of slack so that they can sit next to each other. So we're going to pick up 6 sets, and then we're going to skip. So we're going to pick up the first bead. We're skipping a bead. I've just completely lost my attention there. So skip a bead. So we were coming out these two, skip the next bead and enter into the next bead. And what that should do is make two that sit next to each other like that. Like I said, if you're not familiar with peyote, then you might want to start by watching another video. Hang on, my thread is looped around that. Okay. So again, another, so 1, 2, sorry, I'm just putting my thumb on it to hold my tension. So I've now got 2. So pick up a Delica, skip the next bead and enter the next bead. The first row is always the hardest. So that's 3 rows of 2 that I've added, 1, 2, 3. So I'm skipping the next bead and I'm entering the next bead. 4. It does help if you just put your thumb on it like that, like I'm doing. I keep getting looped around my pliers. 5. 1 more. Okay, so skip. And here we're going to enter 2. So on the 6th bead that you put on, you're going to go through 2 of your seed beads. Okay, so here was our tail. We went through 2, we added a bead. Skip, added, 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 6, and then we're going through 2. So there should be 6 sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 2. And then you're going through 2. Okay, and you're going to do this 3 times. So I will not make you watch me. I will come back just before the end of my 3rd set. Okay, so I have 2 left to do. I've done the first set, skipped 2 beads. The second set of 6, skipped 2 beads. And now I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 2 more to do. So 1, and I'm back to my tail. That's how you know you've gone all the way around. And then here I'm going through the 2 that we started the round. Remember, we went through 2 at the beginning. So here I'm going through these 2 and just pull that and get that guy to sit nicely. Okay, so I've now got a ring that has 6 and then 2 spaced apart, and then 6 and then 2 spaced apart. Okay, so the second round we have to step up. So go ahead through one of the side beads, whichever hand you are, the outer hand. So if you're left-handed, you're probably holding this on your right finger. I'm right-handed, so I'm holding it on my left finger. Okay, so I've stepped up. So here we're going to continue, and everywhere there's a gap, there's 1 bead. We're going to put 1 in next to it. So just head on, pick up a bead and head through the next bead that's sticking out. And congratulations, you've just finished the hardest part of the thing, which is the first row of peyote. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you're going to put 5 on, which fills those 5 gaps. And then here, where there's the 2 beads, you're going to just add 2 instead of 1. So it's just normal peyote, but you're adding 2. wherever there's two. So just like that. See how those two are like together. Okay, so just keep going around the ring and I will come back when I'm almost finished with that round. Okay, so I've done 4 of my set of 5. I'm just doing the 5th one, and then I have to put on my 2 here, and then we're going to step up again. You can tell when you're getting back to the beginning because your tail will be there. So here I'm going to go through this one, and I'm going to step up through the outside edge again to get ready for the next round. So each round you actually move forward a tiny bit past this tail, so it keeps kind of migrating where the end of the round is. Okay, so here we're going to do one more row of these Delicas. So go ahead and start doing that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And here you're back to the 2, so make sure you go through the 2 here on the 5th bead that you add. Oops. And just keep going around, and whenever you get to the 2 beads, just make sure you go through both of them. So you should be adding 6 beads and then going through 2. So continue around. I'll come back when I'm almost at the end of this round. Okay, so I'm back to my tail thread, which means I'm nearly at the end. So I've just got to go through those 2, and then you have 1 more bead to add, because remember, we're each step up we're moving forward a tiny bit, so add your last bead and then step up. Okay, so again, 1 more row, and on this row, when you get to the set of 2, you're only going to add 1. So just peyote along, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to do 4, and then you're going to meet your set of 2, and we're only going to add 1. So we're going to start pulling in our triangle now. So give it a really good tug and kind of start to form that triangle. So you're going to add 5 and then the 1 to pull in the corner. Okay, so here I'm at the end of my round, so I'm going to step up through those 2 and give that a tug. Okay, so it's starting to become somewhat triangular now. So now we're going to skip, we're kind of finished with our Delicas for now. We're going to move over to our 15 O's and start pulling it in even more. So you're going to add 1, 2, 3, 3, and then you're at this corner here. So what we're going to do with the corner is we're going to not add a bead here or here. So we're just going to shimmy on through this guy that we added at the corner and shimmy on through the next one. So these two dips do not have a bead in it. Okay, so this one and this one, there's no bead. So I'm just completely skipping those, and I'm pulling in even more to form more of a triangle. And so you're only going to be adding 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to skip over the corner of your 15s on the next side. And 4, and then I'm skipping the next bead. I'm going into the one at the corner that we added on the last round, and I'm heading into the, skipping the next lower bead and heading into the next higher bead. So hopefully you understand what we're doing. We're basically skipping the next two places where you would put a bead normally in regular peyote. And then I'm going to skip the next lower down bead, go through the corner bead and through the next sticky outy bead here. So you're skipped these two lowers, and you have one more because we only added 3 because we kind of started in the middle of that row just because we're moving forward each row when we step up, which we're doing right now. So go through the gold bead and then through your next 15-0. Oops, got wrapped around there. Okay, I'm just giving it a good tug, trying to pull that triangle into shape a little bit. Oh my, okay. So again, we're doing another row of 15s, as you might have guessed. So go ahead and put in 2 15s between the 15s that are already there. So 1 and 2. And at this corner, this is a little bit dramatic, but trust me, it works. You're just going to pick up 1 15 and you're going to head all the way over to this bead over here. So you're going to skip all these gold beads and just go into the next 15, okay? And when you pull, you're going to have a little gap there, but that's where our little pearl is going to sit. Okay, the last corner, so I'm jumping right over to the next 15 and head into the next one, and then just you can step up, but we're not adding another row. What I'm going to be doing is reinforcing all these 15s, and we're going to be adding our pearl on. So go ahead and sew through until you get to the corner 15 that we just added, so the one in the corner. So you're exiting from it. So sew until you're coming out of that one. this one right here, and then pick up your 3mm, and I'm using pearls. I like the look of it. You, if you wanted to, you could totally use like you know, like check rounds or any kind of fire polished or a bicone. You could use whatever you want. Okay, so I'm coming out from this side of this 15-0, so I'm going to enter this side of this 11-0 Delica that's right here at the corner. If I can get my needle into it, there we go. And I'm just gonna pull the pearl, and then I'm going to go back through the pearl again. So from the Delica towards the middle of the work, and then so I was on this side, so I'm going to enter that middle bead again, that middle 15-0 from this side, because I was coming out of this side of the Delica. I went up through the bead, and now I'm going to enter from this side. I'm going to pull that, and he's going to sit really nicely down in that little hole that we made. And then I'm going to go through the next little 15-0, which is, it's not the sticky outy one, it's kind of the further down one, so just make sure you don't skip that one. And we're, like I said, we're reinforcing all of this edge, so we're just keep going until we get to the next corner. You guys know how I'm like obsessed with reinforcing everything, right? Okay, so again, coming out the middle bead at the corner, picking up my pearl, entering from the side that the thread is exiting, that gold bead right there at the top, entering back into my pearl, give that a tug just to get it in position, and then entering that 15-0 that's there, and then carry on through the lower 15-0. Give all of that a tug, get that seated the way you want it to be. And I'm not going to do it on the video, but once I finish this round, I would go around again and reinforce the pearls so that they are really on there and not going to come off when you're wearing them, because they are kind of sticking up, so you don't want them to like get bumped and break off. I mean, I don't think they would anyway, but just for safety's sake, I would reinforce around. So I'm just moving through all those 15-0s until I get to the middle again, and then we're going to add our last pearl. So I'm coming out from this side, going into that side of that Delica. Come on, buddy. There we go. Back through the pearl again, and then through that 15-0 again, and into the next 15-0. Give it all, oops, got my tail there. Give it all a nice tug, and I'm just going to go through like maybe the next 2 beads here, and then we should have reinforced our entire round by now. So if I were you, I would go around again and do all of that again, but for this video I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we need to now work on the back. So we're going to follow this diagonal line, so wherever you're coming out, you're going to work your way along the diagonal there until you get 1 bead from the outside. So there should be 1 more bead beyond where you are on the outside. And the way you turn around, because because I'm going to turn around so I can work in this direction. You just go into the bead next to you, and then your thread sits nicely in that little gap right there. So I'm coming out from that bead and I'm going into the bead right next to it. See my thread just like, you can't even see it. So I've just turned around so I can work, because I don't want to work at the corner right now. I want to just be in the middle. And then I'm going to just work till I get to the edge here. Okay, now on the back here, we're only going to use our 15-0s. What am I doing? Okay, so now is a good time to very carefully pick up your tile and pop it in there. And just be super careful. Like I say, it is made out of glass and it is sharp. Actually, no, I want this side to be the top. Okay. So he should get in. You can kind of use your needle to lift your beadwork if you need to. This is weird. I don't know why this one doesn't want to go in. Normally they just sit right in. No problem. Let me just wiggle. There we go. Okay, so it's still going to be loose around it. Now he's in. Okay. So like I say, this glass tile is very sharp. Please be careful. Once we beaded it, it's perfectly fine, and no one's going to hurt themselves. The only one who might get hurt is you. Okay, so I've got him sitting in there. You might need to hold him with your thumb. So we're just going to do a round of peyote, and when we get to the corner where there's two, we're just going to put 1 15-0. But it's just regular peyote here. So we're just going to put a 15-0. And your tile might be loose. I've had tiles that were loose. I've had tiles that were tight. At this point, it's just, like I say, they're not calibrated. They're not cut to a specific size. So yeah, just accept that. Okay, that's where my tail is. So I'm just giving it a tug to tighten up those beads there. And then so at the corner where there's two, you're just picking up 1. Really push that tile in and then pull that corner bead, so you start to pull it all inwards. Yeah, see how I just pulled that so that it all kind of pulls up more over the edge there. Okay, I won't make you watch me go all the way around, but just go all the way around, and wherever you're at a corner, just pop in a bead where the 2 beads are. So I will see you back in a second. Okay, so I'm about to pop in my last 15-0 there, and then I'm stepping up through my Delica and my 15-0. And I'm just giving that all a tug, and then I'm going to do another row of 15-0s. So just keep going and popping 15-0s in between the 15-0s we just added. And when you get to the one just before the corner here, we're not going to use that corner bead. We're going to pick up 1 and skip across to this one here. So just ignore the corner 15-0 basically. So it's going to look like that. Okay. I'll just work one more corner just to make sure you've got it. And when I'm pulling, I'm kind of pulling inwards towards this direction each time I add a bead, just to kind of get the edge to pull in. Okay, so I'm at the corner, that's the corner bead, so I'm skipping that one and I'm going into the next one. Okay, so just finish up that round and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got one more 15-0 to add. And I'm just going to go through that one and then step up through the next bead. But we are not adding another row. This design, the front is more covered than the back, but I wanted the back to be open so that the light can really shine through the tile, which I don't think you're able to really see that, but it is glowing quite a lot in real life, so I don't want to block up any more of the back. So what you're going to do is you're going to just go all the way around to reinforce the edge, and then I will show you how to make the corners pointy like on this one. So go all the way around, and when you get to the middle of that edge where you're okay, so I've reinforced all the way around the 15-0s, and now we're going to work our way to this bead right here. So if you see here at the corner, these are the sets of two that we had. Let me just zoom in, hang on one sec. Here we go. Okay, so these are the sets of two that we had added in the first round. So we're going to work our way to the one right between those two, right before it. So just go follow the diagonal down, work your way through one bead at a time. And then here it doesn't really matter, I could go in that one or that one, it doesn't matter which one you want to go in. Okay, so I'm at the bead right before and in between those sets of two. Okay, so that's where I am. Can you see that? So there's like a 3 right here, and then there's the 2 sets of 2. So we're going to go through one of them, whichever side you want to, it doesn't matter. You're going to pick up one of your Delicas and then go through the next one that's, you know, in the row with it. Okay, now remember when we turned around, we just went straight across and went into the one next to this one, next to what we were doing. We're going to do that here. So we're going to go into that one on that side. We're going to go through the Delica that we just added. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And when you pull it, it's going to kind of center over those two, and then you're going to go through the second one of those two. Okay, so what we've done, we've added a little point onto our triangle there. Trying to get him to sit up. There we go. So we've now got a really pointy triangle. So now we're going to go back through the guy next to him again. through the Delica that we just added again, and then through the lower bead of the two, and there's my tail coming out of the same bead I am right now. Okay, and now you're going to work your way down. So just shuggle along until you get to this guy here, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay, and then, so that's the middle bead that I want to be coming out of before the pair of twos. So then I'm just going to go up the first bead, pick up my Delica, go down the second bead, turn around, go up the first bead, through the Delica, and down the second bead, and then up the first bead on the other side, the opposite side again, through the Delica, and down the second bead. Just okay. Now before we work our third corner, so we've worked two corners, we need to add our earring finding on. Let me zoom you out a teensy bit if I can. What am I doing? So from where we are coming out of our two, we're going to work through the middle bead, and then an outside bead and a middle bead, and then an outside bead. Oops, if I can get to an outside bead. Get through there. And then the middle bead. So I want my earring top thing to come out right basically in this gap here between these two beads right here. Okay, so pick up a Delica, pick up your pearl, and then pick up two Delicas, and then whichever way the front of your earring is, so I'm working, I've been working in this direction, so I want the front to be here. I'm going to go through your earring finding, and those two Delicas have gone through as well. That's okay. And then you're going to pick up two more Delicas. So two more, and then you're going to go back down through the pearl and through the bead here, and then you're not going into the next bead because I want to fill this gap, so I'm going into this bead here. So this bead is going to sit between the thread that I'm coming out of and there. Okay, and when you pull all of that tight, you will see that this bead is sitting like on this row here where this sticky outy bead is. So I work to where there's not a sticky outy bead, and then up, around, down, and back out here. Now we're going to add our next corner on. So work over to the corner. And there is a method to my madness here, which is I'm going to use this to turn around and come back and reinforce this bit. So head on up one of the two sets of two, add your Delica, go through the next bead, turn around, so right up through the bead right next to it, through the Delica you just added, and through the lower bead, turn around, reinforce that, through the Delica, through the set of two, turn around, through the Delica, and through the set of two. Okay, so that corner's on. So now we're going to work our way back to this bead. We're going to go all the way up again. So let me get over there. Let me zoom you in again a bit. Okay. So coming out there, so I've got to go here, here. Just kind of work your way along the diagonals until you get where you're going. And this bead right here is where I want to be coming out. Okay, and now I'm going to go up my Delica, up my pearl. That's just my tail. And then, because I came from this direction, I'm going up this side first. So I'm going to go up one of these two Delicas on this side, just the very first. If I can get the pearl so slippy, my needle's sliding all over the place. Okay, so I'm going up that very first Delica. I'm going to pick up a 15-0 because it's got to look pretty. And then I'm going up the next Delica. Okay, so see how it's sitting right between those two Delicas. Go through your earring finding. If you don't want to do all this, like if you have an earring finding that just opens, you can just make a loop. You don't have to do this, but this earring finding doesn't open, so I'm sewing it in. Okay, and then I'm going back down. So I picked up a 15-0, went through the first Delica, picked up a 15-0, going down through the second Delica, through the pearl, through the Delica at the bottom, so, and then I'm going to go through this way. Hang on, I'm going to get looped around if I do that. I need to lift that over. There we go. Okay. So if you keep working in that, make sure that, you know, when you're going on the right, you go up the right side here, and when you're coming from the left, you go up the left side. That will keep your earring facing forward, because otherwise it could just turn around, because we only have one little bead here. So if you get your threads mixed up direction wise, your earring is not going to know which way is the front, and it's going to be turning around a lot. So that's why I did it this way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just turn around right here. So I'm going to go into the next little bead right here. And remember how we turn around right into the bead next to it, going in the opposite direction. I'm just going to go back through all of this again because this is what holds our earring together. So I want it to be really nice and strong. And because I'm coming from this side, I'm going to go up this side of my loop first. Okay, I made it around and I've come out the other side. So now we just need to tie off our working thread and our tail, and to do that I'm going to move through the beadwork until I get onto another side where this isn't in the way. So just follow the diagonals along. Oops. See, this is why I'm going to another side, because I keep getting looped around. That's the wrong way. Okay. I keep getting looped. Okay. So I'm just sneaking around the back here. And then all you need to do, peyote is actually really easy to tie off, no knots involved. So just work through some of the beads and then change direction the way I showed you. So just go up through another bead next to it. And it's a good idea to go back through, you know, the bead that you just came through. And then what I like to do is like a figure 8. So every time you change direction, if you're using Fireline holds its shape, so it doesn't want to change, slip. So it's gonna hold in place. Oh no, I got looped again. And then just move through maybe the next one. And then you can just cut your thread off once you've kind of made a figure 8, changed directions a couple times. Just cut your thread off and do the same thing for your tail. Just weave that in. And then you're finished with your earrings. And I think these are so elegant. I mean, you wouldn't have thought that these little glass tiles, you know, cheap mosaic glass tiles could make such pretty little earrings, but they are so pretty. I love them. They look really nice. I love the size of them. I think they're really elegant. And yeah, you can just kind of smush them into shape if they're a little bit misshapen. What you might find is you've got fingerprints all over the front of them. So what you'll want to do there is you'll just want to, too far. You'll just want to get a little polishing cloth and just scrub that off and scrub off the back before you wear it, just to kind of make it all really nice looking. So yeah, those are the ones that obviously we made today, and like I say, I just think they're beautiful. These are the ones, the blue ones that I made. I also like these, they're really cool. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this project. I'd love to know if you make them, if you buy those tiles, do be careful. So you can get the tiles and also the pearls that I'm using from bbcraft.com. So So these are the tiles. It's like a set of 360, I think, or maybe it's 180. I don't know. I haven't counted them. Mosaic tiles, I think they're called. They have different shapes as well. They have like diamonds and I think squares, and then I got the triangles. But yeah, it's a fun project. So I hope you have a go at that, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!